This is the most mysterious book ever written. 600 years old, 240 pages, and not one human being alive or dead has ever read a single line of it. Not the codebreakers who cracked wartime ciphers, not linguists fluent in a dozen dead languages, not the modern AI we trained on every writing system we know. And here is the part that should be impossible. The closer you look at this book, the more it behaves like a real language, fluent, structured, deliberate, like a message that is genuinely trying to tell you something. We just have no idea what. It is called the Voynich Manuscript. 240 pages of flowing handwriting and hand-painted illustration, bound in soft animal skin vellum. The text is written in an alphabet of maybe 20 to 30 symbols, an alphabet that appears nowhere else in human history. There are no corrections, no crossings out, no hesitation anywhere on the page. Whoever made this wrote it fluently, at speed, as if they had used the script their whole life, and then the book simply vanished from the record for centuries. Until one afternoon in 1912, a book dealer walked into a villa outside Rome and picked it up. His name was Wilfrid Voynich. He was picking through a chest of old volumes being quietly sold off by a Jesuit college near Rome. Most of the chest was ordinary, but one small, plain book stopped him cold, packed with bizarre drawings and that alphabet he had never seen. He bought it, and almost at once he became convinced he was holding a lost masterpiece of medieval science, the discovery that would make his name. He was right about one thing. The book did take his name. It also took the rest of his life. For the next 18 years, Voynich tried everything to crack it. He carried it to scholars, cryptographers, historians, anyone who might read even one line. Not one of them could. He died in 1930 having decoded absolutely nothing. And that is the pattern that still holds today. The problem was never that the book is difficult. It is that every answer anyone has ever offered has turned out to be wrong. More than a century of the brightest minds on earth, and the book has beaten every single one of them. So what is actually inside it? Open it and the strangeness turns visual. The pages sort themselves into roughly 6 subjects and not one of them behaves. There is a botanical section crowded with plants, an astronomical section full of stars and zodiac wheels, a pharmaceutical section lined with jars and roots, and pages of dense recipes, each short paragraph marked with a little star. At a glance, it all looks practical, a naturalist's field guide or a working physician's notebook. But look closely at any single page, and the same quiet problem surfaces everywhere. Almost nothing in this book matches the real world. Start with the plants. There are dozens of them, painted in patient detail, leaf, stem, root and flower. Botanists have gone through them one by one trying to match each drawing to a living species. Mostly they cannot. The plants of the Voynich Manuscript are plants of nowhere, impossible hybrids or inventions or specimens from a world that never existed. And beside every one sits a block of that unreadable writing. Clearly a caption. A name, a description, an explanation. Someone labelled these plants with real care. We are simply locked out of what the label says. And then there is the section that unsettles people the most. Page after page of small naked figures, most of them women, standing in pools of green liquid. They are joined by a strange plumbing of pipes and channels that seems to carry them from one basin to the next. Nobody knows what it shows. Human anatomy, alchemy, some lost map of the body or the soul. It has the calm, confident logic of a diagram that means something exact to someone. And that is the truly disturbing thing here. Every page insists that it makes sense. We just cannot get in. So who builds a thing like this? Follow the ownership backwards, and the trail runs cold in the 1600s. It ends inside the court of Rudolf II, Holy Roman Emperor, a man famously obsessed with the occult and the strange. According to a letter written in 1665, Rudolf's court believed the book was worth 600 gold ducats, a genuine fortune. That same letter records the book being handed to one of the sharpest minds of the age. His name was Athanasius Kircher, the scholar who had built his fame claiming to decode Egyptian hieroglyphs for popes. If anyone alive could read it, surely it was him. Kircher couldn't read a word. For a long time there was one tidy suspect. Maybe Wilfrid Voynich, the dealer, had simply forged the whole thing himself to sell. It is the answer everyone quietly wants, clean humans solved. Then in 2009, researchers carbon-dated the vellum itself. The result came back hard and clear. The animal skin was made between 1404 and 1438, the early 1400s. That is a full century older than scholars had guessed, and centuries before Voynich was ever born. The forgery theory was dead. This book is genuinely, provably medieval, which forces a far harder question. Is it even a language at all? Here is the fact that keeps serious researchers awake at night. Feed the Voynich text through the tools we use to measure real languages, and it passes test after test. Its words obey Zipf's law. the exact mathematical fingerprint we find in English, in Latin, in Chinese, in every natural language ever checked. The common words repeat at natural rates. The word lengths cluster the way real words do. Statistically, this is not someone dragging a pen across the page at random. It has structure. It has rhythm. By every measure we own, it looks like meaning. And that is exactly what makes the next part so maddening, because the pattern also breaks. Some words repeat 2 or 3 times in a row, something almost no human language ever does. Certain symbols appear only at the start of a line, others only at the end, as if the position on the page and not the meaning is steering the text. And in 600 years, not one repeated phrase, not one single word, has ever been turned into sense. So we are trapped between 2 possibilities that both feel impossible. Either it is a real message we have never managed to read, or it is a perfect imitation of one. And that is where the theories go to war. The first camp says the book is real. Either a lost or invented language written down by sound, whose spoken form we can simply no longer recover, or a cipher, a code laid carefully over ordinary words. In 2019, researchers showed something unsettling. A simple system using cards and dice can generate text that looks eerily like Voynich's. That does not decode the book, but it proves a single medieval mind could have engineered a system this strange, entirely on purpose. Which means the key might be real. We may just have never found it, or it may have died with its maker. Second camp says the opposite. It means nothing at all, and that is the whole trick. Back in 2004, a researcher named Rugg showed you could mass-produce Voynich-like gibberish. His tool was a simple grill, a card cut with holes, slid across a table of syllables, fast enough to fill hundreds of pages. In that reading, the manuscript is a masterpiece of a different kind. Not a book of secrets, but an object built to look like one, perhaps to sell to a rich, occult-hungry emperor for 600 ducats. A beautiful, elaborate, expensive nothing, and still the announcements keep coming. In 2019, an academic declared the book was written in proto-Romance, a lost early language, and philologists took the claim apart within days. Others have offered Hebrew fed through algorithms, shorthand Latin, a forgotten dialect from Asia. Every few years, a new headline promises the Voynich Manuscript finally decoded. Every single one collapses under inspection. The book has a kind of gravity. It pulls in brilliant, obsessive people. It swallows their theories whole. And it goes on saying nothing, exactly as silent as the day it was found. So here is where we honestly stand. A real medieval book. An alphabet that exists nowhere else on Earth. Plants from no known world and green pools no one can explain. Writing that behaves like language yet has never surrendered a single sentence. And a maker who was either a genius, a fraud, or something we still don't have a word for. Maybe it is a code we crack tomorrow morning. Maybe it is a joke that has outlived its author by 600 years. Or maybe it is exactly what it appears to be, a message that was never meant for us. So I'll leave the last word to you. Is the Voynich Manuscript a lost language, a hidden cipher, or history's most patient hoax? Tell me which and why in the comments, and I'll see you in the next unsolved case.